Good evening.
What up?
It is messed up.
Is it?
No, I don't. We're gonna get situated. I don't think anybody's on here yet, but nope. That ain't it. Talk to people, babe.
Oh, what up? How y'all doing? Just getting a little bit situated here. It's been a long day. Long day. But listen, we're here. We're doing our thing. I want to thank y'all for being with us. Thank y'all for joining us. We appreciate the love and support from our people, man. We're just trying to do what we can do to make it happen. So listen, we're here tonight. Just want to talk a little bit about what we always talk about, relationships. While the other half of my relationship is walking around here doing stuff, trying to get situated. Yeah, it's all good.
Excuse the shadow. I don't know why we have a shadow. It's whatever. Yeah, keep talking. It's
Okay,
fine.
it's all good. So what's up with y'all, man? If y'all with us, y'all rock with us. Let us know what's going on. Send us a shout out. We're gonna send you a shout out. We're just gonna shout each other out all program long. So, just want to say what's up, man. We want to make sure that everybody's here with us. We want to make sure that we are doing. Want to make sure that we are doing what we can do, man. Do our part to help. So we're here. We're in this thing. We are
With a shadow.
with a shadow. Just excited, to be able to share with y'all some good information. So, why don't you start? We talked a little bit last week about we talked about growing together.
Mm-hmm.
Growing together last week, and that is definitely a topic that is something that is
What's
grown to what's up.
up?
Thank
Good
you for supporting us.
evening.
We appreciate you. So we talked a little bit. Just want to do a little bit of a recap from last week. We talked a little bit about growing together, right? Especially in a relationship, how important growing together is, right? And making progress and doing things the right way to build a healthy relationship. You know what I'm saying? And so we are today. We're going to talk about accountability. That's really the topic. So
Accountability.
accountability. Yep. So make sure you get your thoughts together. Make sure you get your comments ready. We want y'all to fire them bad boys off.
Mm-hmm.
We want this to be an all-encompassing conversation. Just really right now we're just trying to figure out, what does accountability mean? What does accountability mean to you? Right? Do you have any tips on how to be more accountable, how to hold somebody else more accountable?
I think it's easier for people to hold other people accountable than it is for them to hold themselves accountable.
That's facts.
It's more important to hold yourself accountable.
I think it's easier for other people to hold other people accountable than to hold themselves accountable. Why do you think it's
Because you don't have to deal with you and whatever. Why are you doing what you're doing?
Okay.
Did that explain it?
Yeah.
Like you don't have to deal with. You can just kind of say, what somebody else doesn't do. But if you take a look at yourself, you're gonna have to make a decision to change that or keep going in that direction, and you'll have a consequence either way.
Right.
Because there's good consequences and there's bad consequences. So, you just have a higher risk of suffering a bad consequence.
Right. I can dig that.
If you don't hold yourself accountable and continue to point fingers, lose relationships.
Yeah, that's true. So what is accountability? I want y'all to give me the layman's terms definition. I want y'all to reach into your bag and pull out a definition for me. And I want you to give me a Webster's dictionary definition. I want you to tell me, what do you think accountability is in a relationship? Hey, Nadine, how
Hello.
you doing? Cuzzo from Bama. We reaching the nation, man. That's what we're doing now. It's good to see you. Hope everybody's doing well. So when we talk about accountability, I'm gonna tell you what it means to me, right? We talk about accountability. We talk about being. We talk about uh, making people do, well, not making people, but reminding people that they're doing what they said they're going to do, right? In a relationship, we're always supposed to set goals, right? We're never supposed to be stagnant. We're never supposed to be complacent in a relationship. We're always supposed to be growing. We're always supposed to be moving forward, learning new things. Like we said last week, growing together. We're supposed to be always doing those things. So if you're in a relationship and you're setting those goals and you're telling your partner, look, this is what I want to do. It doesn't matter if it's something that's going to better the relationship, it's going to better you personally, professionally, spiritually, whatever it is, right? Uh, Being held accountable is really important in a relationship because if you're going to put your word out there, if you're going to tell somebody you're going to do something, you got to make sure that you are equipped, that you are ready, that you are willing to do exactly what it is you said that you are going to do. Now, are there going to be times where you feel like you don't want to do things or you don't want to be held accountable? For sure.
Absolutely. Most times.
Most times, right? But I mean, if you put it out there, then you got to be in a place where you were just like, look, I said it, so I'm going to do it. Most of us, all we have is our word. Right? All we have is what we put out there, to other people. So our word is our bond. We got to make sure uh, that we are truthful, that we are continuing to, not put ourselves in compromising positions, but we're in a position where we can do what we said that we're going to do. Even if sometimes it's a little bit hard, we still don't keep ourselves, uh, in a position where we are willing to keep our word no matter what. So, uh, lessons of accountability in our relationship, right? Just the other day. You want to tell me yesterday?
Yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
well, what had happened was, no, we've been saying that we're gonna go for a walk for a while. We need to walk. We need to walk because quarantine and we had the fall and then you had winter and like right after we had like quarantine and so we getting a little plump, right? So we need to walk. Just keep it real. Getting a little plump. So I found myself not fitting in close, and so I was like, we need to walk. And so he said, we need to walk. And that happened like once every other week, maybe. So yesterday he came home really tired, and I told him earlier we're gonna go walk. After you get home and get settled, and he didn't want to go. He want to take a nap. And I said, I'm gonna need you to get up and come on, let's walk, because you said you wanted to walk. And so I had to really push him. I wasn't like that. I was a little nicer, wasn't I?
A little bit.
You probably didn't feel like I was nice because you were tired. Yeah, I was a little nicer, but I really like encouraged him and motivated him. Like, hey, we need to do what we said we're gonna do. We need to start walking. So let's get up. So I really pushed him yesterday, and ultimately, you grown and you could have been like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
But then I would have held you accountable.
Yeah.
But then you wouldn't have held yourself accountable by doing what you said you wanted to do.
It would have been a good night.
Right.
Yeah. So we use that example because I said, that we need to exercise more, we need to get out, we need to do things that are going to help us more, right? And so uh, my wife heard what I said. She agreed with what I said, and then she was like, "Look, you said this, right? And so because you said this, I want to make sure that you honor what you said, right? Because we don't really understand it sometimes, but the words that come out of our mouths are really important. We say some things sometimes, and sometimes when we say things, we try to hurry up and catch it back, but it's already out there and you can't do it. So it's really important that we take the time to understand what we're saying before we enter into these verbal contracts, right? And then we're doing these things, and then when you enter into the verbal contract, you depend on your partner to keep you on the straight and narrow. So I was thankful, that we did it. Although I didn't want to do it, although I was tired, I just wanted to lay down. I worked all day and all this other kind of stuff. She did too. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, "Look, I'm gonna do this because you said you wanted to do it. Let's do it. Now, that's being held accountable for what you said you were going to do. Holding somebody accountable is simply reminding them of the task that they said they wanted to complete, and motivating them to stay on task. That's what being held accountable is. Making sure that every time you know something comes up against you, you feel like giving up. You don't do that. You're reminded that hey, you said you wanted to do this. You said you wanted to accomplish this. Let's make it happen. And so being held accountable is really, really, really important. That's why it's really important that you find somebody who who's going to motivate you, who's going to not just feed you the fluff, the stuff that you want to hear. It's going to tell you the truth. You know what I'm saying? You don't want nobody's going to tell you, you don't want no yes man or no yes woman all the time. You want somebody that's going to tell you the truth, that's going to hold you accountable, and that's going to be in your corner, pushing you to do better each and every day. And so being held accountable is just a part of the process. Sometimes you don't want to be held accountable, right? Sometimes you'll be like, I don't care what I say, I don't want to do that.
Right.
But then you got to remember, why you got to remember why you said you want to do it in the first place. What is the reason? What's the reason behind accomplishing that task? What's the reason behind even setting it up in the first place? Why? What's the reason behind it? And so a lot of times, because our partner throws a little bit of attitude or whatever, we want to give up. We want to say, okay, well, it's not worth it. I'm not going to do this. But no, man, we got things that we need to accomplish. We got goals that we got to hit. So if you say something, make sure you mean it, because you got to have a partner beside you that is going to hold you accountable and going to hold you to your word. So that's why you got to watch what you say, and then you got to be able to sacrifice to make sure that whatever you said you wanted to do, that's what you want to do. So, what is accountability to you guys? Man, who else is on here? Nobody's Esperanza Gardenia said what's up. Who else is on here telling us what's up, man? I'm trying to see my fam. I'm trying to see what's going on.
Let me see if I can see who's on here.
Talking about accountability, the question's still out there. What does accountability mean to you? And have you ever had to hold anybody accountable? And was it an easier, was it a hard task for you? Is Adrian on there?
Adrian.
That's my brother. My brother, my baby brother. What up, A?
Carla Beecham.
Carla,
Esperanza. I don't know who's all on here now. They'd have to say something.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm just not.
Okay, all good.
I'm tech savvy, but.
Okay, so we're spitting out that accountability stuff again, right? Why is accountability important in a relationship to you? Why is it important? Why do you feel, or do you feel it's easier to hold yourself accountable, or do you feel it's easier to hold your significant other accountable? Talk to me.
Okay.
How do you hold someone accountable, but does the same thing?
Like a hypocrite? Like you, like a hypocrite? Like somebody holds you, yes, on hypocrisy. Yes. Hey, Kevin.
Kev, what's good? Suit man, my guy. How do you hold someone accountable, but does the same thing? That's a real good question. Hey, actually. So if you're talking about holding somebody accountable, right? You're talking about, you being accountable to them being accountable to you. And so, like, give me an example. Like, help me put this into a nice round gift so that we can break it down. Because I've been processing stuff all day. My mind's a little bit tired. So if you can help me out, we can dig into that a little bit. I mean, hypocrisy is definitely not not something that is good in a relationship. That means that you're saying something but you're doing something else, right? So
I think it goes well while he's writing. Hopefully you're writing, Adrian, what you mean, like to give us an example.
Right.
But I think that holding somebody accountable that does the same thing, you have to remember that you do not control another person. And it goes back to what you said is it's reminding them
Right.
of something they said they were going to do. So ultimately, at the end of the day, you know, wash your hands of it. You could pray about it, but the ball is in their court. Like they want to go out and hang out with friends, they get mad. I'm gonna post it. They want to go out and hang out with friends. They get mad when you ask to do it. Are these? I feel like that is me. I'm gonna answer that.
Okay.
You answer it too.
Okay.
But for me, that is a boundary issue. We talked about that.
Yeah.
Like one of the first, second episode here. Setting boundaries, what you're going to put up with and what you're not going to put up with. But I think that that's like a boundary issue that needs to be talked about, communicated out, and made plain that that's not right. And if we're going to proceed, in this relationship, then we have to change some things.
Agreed. So when you talk about like specifics like that, um, I agree with Roz when she says, it's definitely a boundary issue, right? It's something that you discuss and say, hey, look, I got friends I want to hang out with. Uh, you know, sometimes, maybe not all the time, but something that I want to do sometimes, and we got to be okay with that. It's almost a double standard, right, in a relationship. If you're just like, hey, I want to go out, but when you ask to go out, I'm gonna give you, I'm gonna give you a little bit of trouble for it. But I feel like in a relationship that's something that should be discussed, right? And if it's a point of contention in the relationship, you guys got to sit back and you have got to come to an agreement with that, right? And that's all a relationship is, and it's really just compromise. So if there's something that you're talking about, there's some things that are being done that that one or the other doesn't really agree with, then you got to have that conversation. You got to sit down. You got to have that adult conversation and say, look, this is something that I'm really interested in. It's something that I want to do. I want to know how you feel about it. You know what I'm saying? And so if they disagree with it, then you gotta make the decision to say, okay, my partner disagrees with this. Am I willing to cause a disruption in my relationship over this, or am I willing to compromise and say, okay, this is not something that I'm willing to do, right? So at the end of the day, you usually got to sit down and have that conversation and say, look, is this really worth fighting over? And if you say yeah, excuse me, I don't like the word fight, but if it's something that we really are disagreeing over, and we can't really come to a point of compromise, then one of us has to be the bigger person and say, look, either it's going to be good or it's not, right? At the end of the day, we're adults, right? We're not trying to when we talk about holding each other accountable, we're not talking about raising one another, right? I used to tell my wife all the time, my mama already raised me, right? You ain't got to do that, right? And so I was just being stubborn at the time. I was being stubborn at the time. But our job as partners is not to raise one another because we've already been raised. Our job is to support and hold each other accountable for the things that we said that we want to accomplish, things that we said that we want to do. You're not in it to change me. You're not in it to make me something that you want me to be. You're not in it to change the way that I am. Hopefully, if I'm in a relationship and some things that are in me that you don't agree with, I care about you enough or I love you enough to be able to recognize those things and then change those things myself, right? So it's not that I'm trying to hold you back or we're trying to cut you off from doing the things that you want to do. But if we're going to be in a relationship, we got to understand that it's all compromise, right? And so if you're going to be able to compromise, you got to be able to talk, and to be able to talk, you got to be able, you got to
be able to say how you really feel.
Yeah, for sure. So
say how you really feel.
Hypocrisy is a big issue, right? But I mean, at the end of the day, you got to sit down and have that conversation, right? It's not worth bickering over. Either we're going to agree or we're not going to agree. We're going to move forward in a positive way or we're not. So it's just kind of that way. But what we talk about, like I said before, we talk about holding somebody accountable is not trying to make them do exactly what it is that you want them to do all the time.
Mhm.
That's just going to push people away. You want to be able to express how you feel, right, in a I guess in a caring and loving manner, while still being able to get your point across, right? So I just kind of feel like it's not something that should take up a lot of your time, right? Especially if you already set good boundaries. So sit down, have the talk, work it out. You do like I do in therapy sometimes. Bring out that whiteboard. What are some pros? And what are some cons? Right?
Yeah.
Which ones outweigh the other ones? And then you take it. You make a decision based off that. Hope I answers your question. Just kind of rambling a little bit, but it's all good.
You rambling?
What was that?
I don't think you're rambling. You said you were rambling. I'm trying to fix this because this thing is getting on my. Nope. I could see through my. Sorry, I should not be doing this on live. But hey, you know what? We are our production team. So.
Love you too, bro.
So I messed it up.
How do I start from the beginning? Marsha, you cannot start from the beginning.
Hi, Marsha.
We're already 20 minutes.
Love you too, Adrian.
So we're just talking about holding each other accountable, right? We're just talking about being the type of partner, to be able to, support, to be able to, help your partner, accomplish some of whatever the goals that they want to accomplish, right? It's all about being a good partner. It's all about holding them accountable. And so, like my brother Adrian was saying, if you're gonna hold somebody else accountable, the first person you're gonna hold accountable is yourself. Right. So before you can come out and tell me what I should be doing, you gotta make sure that you're doing what you should be doing as well. Right. So we asked the question, what does accountability mean to you? And so that's what we are. That's kind of the gist. But and that's true to form, right? If you're gonna go ahead.
Did you talk about his question already? Adrian's? You were recapping.
Oh no, I don't think
Okay.
so. You want to recap that?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So basically we were just saying, my brother Adrian asked the question, he said like they want to go like how do you hold somebody accountable but you're being a hypocrite, right? And basically what we said was you gotta be in a place where if you're gonna hold somebody else accountable, then first and foremost you gotta hold yourself accountable, right? This whole thing, man, being in a relationship, being accountable to somebody else, being married to somebody else, it all starts with you. You gotta make sure that you are in the right frame of mind, you're in the right space to be able to be good for somebody else, right? And so that's exactly what it is. And so you gotta make sure that the things that you want to accomplish, that you have those things written down. The things that you want to do, the goals that you have for your relationship, those things should be at the forefront. You should be in a place where it's understood, we're together, and at some point, we want to, I guess, establish a savings account. Then we want to be able to establish buy a house, or you want to be able to buy a car, or whatever it is, whatever goals you have set for yourself, you got to make those goals plain, and then you got to be like, okay, look, this is what we're doing, this is how we're going to get there, and if either one of us gets off track, we got to be strong enough in each other to bring each other back on track and say, look, this is what we say we're going to do. We're not doing it right now, but we got to make sure that we get on track, right? And sometimes you're going to get off track. It happens. We get distracted by birds, nice shiny object, tools, new trucks and stuff. Those are just things that you get distracted by. But at the end of the day, if it's a goal that you want to accomplish, you got to be, strong enough to tell your partner, hey, this is what we decided, this is where we're going, let's get back on track. Now, to caveat that, you are not going to be in a place, you should be in a place where you are trying to change everything about your partner, or you should be in a place where you are trying to make them feel less than or anything like that, because it's a partnership, right? It's something that we're doing this thing together. If if you feel like you need to raise your partner, then you're probably in the wrong relationship. Right? If you feel like uh, you gotta grab them by the hand all the time and lead them to the promised land, right? Then that's you probably should rethink where you are.
Yeah.
But if you're willing to do it, then by all means do it. But like we said before, relationships take time, they take effort, they take uh, patience, they take strength, they take tears, they take everything, right? And so we got to be in a place where we are not only accountable to them, but we're accountable to ourselves as well. So, what does accountability mean to you? I think I've asked that question
And I moved because
15 times.
that little black thing shadow was
Oh,
bothering me,
okay.
distracting. You want to ask another question?
Um, has anybody been held accountable for it? And if you have, how did it feel? If you don't mind sharing your story with us. I don't think it's too bad. But anyways, so you got to be in a place, like I said before, where you are willing and be motivated to, uh, first of all, hold yourself accountable, right? Because you shouldn't do anything for anybody else that you're not willing to do for yourself, right? So accountability is a big, 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 big deal. It's a big deal. It's a part of growing together. I mean, it's a part of establishing a strong, healthy relationship, right? Being able to go to your partner and talk to them, openly, freely, because that's a really good part of being in an open, healthy, open, and being in a healthy relationship is being able to go to your partner and say, look, this is how I feel. Right now, when your partner tells you how they feel, right, you can't always help how they feel, right? All you can do is validate what they're saying, and if there's some necessary changes that either of us have to make, necessary changes, then let's make those together, right? I mean, necessary is hey, I'm about to dip out of this relationship if you don't start washing your dishes, right? Something small or something little like that, is something that you can consider changing yourself if the relationship is worth it to you. So, uh, being accountable to yourself, right? Knowing that uh, there are things that you will and that you will not tolerate is just it's just part of putting those rules out there in the forefront, those boundaries out there in the forefront, so that you can hopefully be in a long lasting healthy relationship, right? What was I gonna ask?
I don't know, but I'm going to say that I think that it comes with maturity as well. Because a lot of people get in relationships, like us, we were very young, and so we had to, we weren't even 21. So we had to grow together, grow up, and mature. So, a lot of that is just, I'm young and I want to do what I want to do. And so a lot of people aren't going to change um, for their spouse or their significant other, more or less themselves.
Right. Yeah, comes with maturity. And man, maturity is a big thing, man. I mean, we say maturity, but then when you think about it, like it is a big deal. Like you have got to be mature, right? I mean, especially if you're in a long term relationship and you're not mature, right? Like that can make for a long, drawn out, bad time, right? Because when you're mature, you understand that it's not about you all the time, right? It's not about what you want, how you want it, when you want it, but it's about compassion and knowing things about your partner and being selfless and being just a part of a team. And so when you're immature, man, it is a bad time. I've been there, done that. But it is not good at all. But you got to go through things to wise up. You got to go through things to be able to see that the world doesn't revolve around you. It's not about you all the time, right? Some of the things that you go through, maybe not, they're not going to feel good all the time. It's not going to be peaches and cream all the time. Sometimes you got to go through things to learn things, uh, the way that you need to learn them. People can tell you all day long, what you should be doing, how you should be doing it. And some of that advice is really good, but some of us don't really learn by people telling us. We learn by going through it and having to be knocked down and
Mm-hmm.
then picked up and knocked down again. So that's how most of us grab or get smart by being put in positions where we are having to grow up,
Right.
uh, having to adopt a different mindset, and move forward in a different way. So it's all about handling those bumps and those bruises, man, and keeping it moving. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now that I have a bunch of bumps, I have a bunch of bruises. I do, and I learned a lot. Right, so when I learned those things, it was beneficial for me to have to go through that. Because what's up, Denisha?
I think, yeah. Hi, Denisha.
But it was
Welcome,
beneficial.
welcome.
It was beneficial for me to go through those things because had I not gone through those things, I probably wouldn't have learned the lesson, right? And so lessons are valuable, right? A lot of people try to run away from lessons, try to get people to shield them from lessons, try to get people to as soon as they start going through something, I want to get out of it. But what are you learning from it? I mean, you gotta ask yourself, well, this is why am I going through this? Why am I in this place? I'm here for a reason. Let me learn all that I can while I'm here, so that I can be better in the long run,
Not be there again.
and not
Not go
hopefully
through.
not be there
Yeah,
again
hopefully not go through it again.
for sure.
And it's tough watching, um, raising children. I'm gonna have to say,
Mm-hmm.
when watching them learn their lessons, because you've been there, you've done that, and you're like, that right there is that's not gonna work. But you don't want to tell them that's not gonna work. Or that's a train wreck waiting to happen. It's like relationships or something.
Mm-hmm.
But you just have to sometimes just bite your tongue and just pray for them
Yeah, watch it happen.
and watch it happen.
Be there to support them when they're done.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but being accountable. I mean, not only in relationships but in life, right? I mean, we're accountable for a lot of things. If you got kids, you're accountable to them.
Yeah.
You got a job, you're accountable at your job, right? And it just kind of trickles down to the relationship, right? You want to make sure that your relationship, the relationship that you're in, is the best possible situation at all times, right? Because you're spending a lot of time there, you're depending, on them to have your back, right? And that's what accountability is having your partner's back, period, right? Sometimes when they're wrong and they're wrong in public, right? Sometimes you kind of let it ride, but when you get together, but you did wrong for that.
Right.
Right? I didn't want to tell you that in public, to seem like we were divided, but I need to let you know that you were wrong for that, right? And so it's just part of the process. So being held accountable, um, you're not. I've said this, and I'll continue to say this until they bury me 6 feet. Your partner is not accountable for your happiness.
Mm.
That is not what they're there for, right? They can do things, to show you that they love you. They can do things in hopes that they put you in a better mood, right? But to actually be happy is a choice that you're going to have to make for yourself. You can't hold anybody else accountable for your happiness, but you. You got to own that, right? You gotta be able to take that and put that on your shoulders and say, look, I've been through this, I've experienced this, right? But I'm not going to let the things that I've experienced ruin, you know, my future. I'm not going to let my past ruin who I'm destined to become. I'm not going to let my past ruin, what I should be accomplishing right now. And so it's a lot of things we got to make sure that we take everything that we have. Uh, we got to take our happiness. We got to take responsibility for us, and we have to be the ones to carry that burden. Right? It's not fair that you put your happiness on somebody else's shoulders and say, "Now make me happy,"
Right.
because that is a task that will probably never happen, and it makes me so upset when I talk to couples and they say, "I'm not happy. I'm not happy. I'm not happy." And my question to them is, were you happy before you even got in the relationship? Right? Well, yeah, I was. Then I got with him. Well, you made a choice that made you. I got with her. Then you made a choice that made you unhappy. It wasn't them. It was you. Right? a lot of times, you know what you're getting into before you even get into it, and then you get into it, and then people, and then you go through some stuff, and then people feel sorry for you. No, 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 no. Right? You know exactly what it is that you're getting into. You think just because you get with them, at some point you can change them, and they're going to make a fine husband or a fine wife or whatever it is. If they're showing you 6 ways to Sunday that they are not changing for you or nobody else. But you still have hope. I just hope that they're going to change. I'm just going to hold on just a little bit longer. If they already showed you it's not going to happen, and you stay right there. You should have been miserable, but you should have been out there a long time ago. That's your decision. You are responsible for you being happy. You're responsible for you being in a good place. That's you, nobody else.
You will be exactly as happy as you decide to be. Hold on, let's do that.
Boom.
Look how big his hand is.
Yeah.
The time.
That's what it is. You will definitely be as happy as you decide to be, and that is, I'm putting that on a T-shirt because that's awesome. And so that's what it is. We gotta make sure that we are being accountable to us first, right? I gotta love me first. I gotta be able to accept me first, right? And a lot of people go through a lot of things in their lives that they don't really tell people about, right? And so you get into a relationship and some of the things that you went through early in life, because you hadn't talked to anybody about it, you hadn't processed anything, close to it. You harbor those feelings, right? And you start to feel a certain way when things start to happen, and then they start to manifest themselves outwardly, in a relationship. And then now we've got, you arguing all the time. We got bickering all the time. We got sleeping in separate rooms. We got sleeping on the couch. We got all kinds of stuff. And when we uh, when we go through things like that, we got to understand that I really wasn't ready in the first place, to be a part of a team, right? You got to be ready. You got to be ready. Like the NBA draft, for instance, right? When these kids go to the NBA draft, some of them aren't ready, right? I mean, they're really good basketball players. Some of them aren't ready for the next level. But then they get a chance, and they go to the NBA. They get on a team, and then they just okay, and then they just kind of bust, right? But if you take the time when you get ready for the next level, you get ready to go to a relationship. You take the time to prepare yourself, right? You take the time to prepare to be ready for a relationship, and then you get into it. You're more prepared to deal with some of the things that come with being in a relationship, right? Some people just think being in a relationship is fun, man. I just want to be in a relationship because I think that it's going to be a great time, right? It could be, right? But you got to be prepared for the bad times as well, right? And so I don't think a lot of people give it a lot of thought before they get into relationships. It's something that people just want to they decide to do. So um, we gotta be in a place where we're ready to be in a relationship first of all, right? And some people go from relationship to relationship to relationship. Why is that? Because some people feel like they need to be in a relationship. They feel like they need to have somebody there. They feel like they need to be validated by somebody else, but you can't even validate yourself. How do you expect somebody else to love you, to validate you, to respect you? You don't even respect yourself. We got to be in a position where we are there first. We got to be in a position where we are, uh, uh, you know, honest with ourselves. As strong as we're going to be, and we got to be ready to be, in a place where we can thrive. And so just being in a relationship is tough work as it is. But you got to make sure that you are as prepared as you can be. Period.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, so accountability, big, 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 big deal in relationships, right? It makes sense, uh, to hold each other accountable, um, especially to one another, right? But if you're in a couple relationship where you feel like you're not supposed to be, or you're not uh, in a monogamous relationship, it needs to be known up front, right? Because if you're going to be accountable to one another, you got to be in a place where that's a voice, and that's a part of your boundaries that you set in the very beginning. So, anyways, so what do you think? Do you think accountability is a good thing or a bad thing? Do you think do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing? Do you think it's something that is needed in a relationship, or do you feel like it's something that's kind of overrated? Let me know what you think. Um,
Accountability. I was not ready for today.
accountability. What's up, boys? What y'all doing?
Hola. Chilling. What you doing? Okay, cool.
I think my wife is looking for a plug, man. My battery's about to die all the time. But anyways, so accountability. Accountability. Let's check it out. Let's see what we're talking about. So, accountability, good thing. I think we can all agree on it. Right? Being in a position where we're holding our values and we're holding our partner accountable for the upkeep of the relationship is not a bad thing. Right? It's just being in a place where we are being adults, and sometimes being an adult is hard. Doing the right or the big thing is hard, but holding your partner accountable is something that is necessary in a relationship, and it's something that should be discussed at the very forefront of the relationship. And we got to be in a place where we are ready and willing to hold our significant other accountable for the relationship or their part in the relationship. So
with that,
listen, we had a long day today. I know it's been it's been a long day, but we had to come on here, check in with our peeps, and we're going to be back next week, next Thursday at 6:00, and we are going to. If you have a topic that you want to talk about, right, message us on here. Send us a message on our Facebook page. On this, you can comment on here, and we'll get it. But give us ideas. Right? We want to talk about what you want to talk about. We want to talk about things that are going to help you in your relationship to be better and strengthen the relationship, the bond that you have with your significant other. So hit us up. We want to help. So we're going to pray. We're going to get out of here because my computer is dying. Father, we just do thank you for your love and mercy. We thank you for your goodness and all that you are. We thank you, oh God, for just watching over us and keeping us. We thank you for your love and mercy. We thank you that you would just bless us, oh God, and everyone that would watch this, oh God, if they're in a position in their relationship, God, that needs help. We ask that you would just speak to them, oh God, that you would repair whatever damage has been done, that you would prepare their hearts and their minds, that you would heal their hearts, oh God, that you would just touch, Lord, that you would just make right what went wrong. We just thank you right now. We love you. We praise you. We give you all the honor and glory. Keep us, bless us, and anoint us until the next appointed time. We give you glory for all that you are. In the mighty name of Jesus, we do pray. Amen.
Amen. Thanks, y'all. Thank you all for joining. God bless you. Good night.